Greetings from Elgin Heritage Park and welcome to Stir Up Your Purpose channel. Thanks for stopping by. I believe this place is called Elgin, or is it Elgin? Anyway, Elgin Heritage Park is a very popular location featuring a gorgeous wetland, forested area, marina, and the historic Stewart Farm Heritage Zone. The nature trail through the park is over 3 kilometers long and takes about an hour to complete. I come here to catch the sunset and adore the beauty of nature. Yesterday was a day of reflection in Canada as we observed the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Thursday, September 30, will mark the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, an annual commemoration honoring the children who died while attending residential schools and the survivors, families, and communities still affected by the legacy of the residential school system. These residential schools were established to intentionally remove children from the educational, cultural, and spiritual influences of their families and communities. Indian residential schools were established to civilize and Christianize First Nations by replacing traditional values with Euro-Canadian values. The aim was simply to take the Indian out of the child. I believe in the eyes of the settlers, the Europeans, they must have believed that they were instruments of God. Which brings me to the video I'm sharing today titled Instruments of God. This is the second class from the Catalina Island Experience seminar given by Herb Fitch in 1975. In this talk, Herb made a bold declaration that when you say you want to be an instrument for God, you must also know that God has no human instruments. You may appear to be an instrument for God at one time, but it will not be because you are a human being. It will be because you have found a body in which the bones cannot be broken. As you listen to this talk, you will soon realize that one cannot be an instrument of God if one is still vested in the human nature. For it is written, the human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is? From this perspective, you see that the so-called settlers were not instruments of God, but driven by ego and selfish desire to grab the land of the indigenous people. For there is no way you can be an instrument of God and see another as less than or unworthy of expression. Now, you as an instrument of God must learn to walk consciously in heaven, here, right here. Thy will be done in me. I am the earth, in me as in heaven. And now, with thy will in me accepted, realized, understood, this is heaven. The place whereon thou standest is heaven, holy ground, and as an instrument of the Father, you must let the Father do the work. The key word here is you must let the Father do the work. And that work always expresses itself in perfect and unadulterated love. Anything outside that is error. And that is why we are having a day of reflection to continue the dialogue of truth and reconciliation of the errors of the past. As usual, this is not an easy talk, but if you are willing to go beyond world-mind concepts and ideologies, you will find it illuminating. Do not just listen to the talk, but contemplate and put to practice the principles shared by Herb Fitch. It is in the contemplation and practice that clarity happens.